Hey everybody, welcome back for my Snowflake demonstration. This specifically is going to show you how to use sketch patterns so you can create one of these arms and make 6 of them out of it. For my students specifically, you're always creating part studios, and we're trying to get in the habit of right-clicking on and renaming and calling these something other than part studio, please. Alright, just back here you have to have the sketch started on top plane. In this case I'm using insert image, and here's my imported picture. I'm going to drag this out. The size, you can make it a specific size if you wish. I'm not demanding that. You can make it maybe 150 millimeters, but more so, you just make sure you have the escape key selected there, so you have, or you click the escape key so you have the white arrow. And just do your best to center it. That's more important that you have it just for design ease centered left to right up here. You don't really need to have it centered the other way around. You just click sketch one more time, and you're clicking on the top. Sometimes it's tricky to see what's going on. You could always click sketch and then click top here, and it's going to do the same thing. Remember, the point is to be able to hide sketch one that you're working on. And here we go with the this center line isn't going to affect anything. The easiest way for, in my opinion, this sketch to happen is to use 3-point arcs, where you click 2 points across an arc like so and bend it into position with a 3rd click. Anytime you do this, it's not going to be perfect unless you get really lucky. It does happen, but chances are what you do is go around after you do these connections and smooth it out with a tangent control. You can also hit the T on the keyboard, and that'll activate the tangent constraint, and it'll smooth out and perfect the transition from arc to straight line in every case. You just have to go through and do it. So here we go. Setting escape as needed. Finish the tools. You can hit the A on the keyboard for a 3-point arc. Learning to use the shortcuts to turn on these tools is incredibly helpful. That's the L for the line on the keyboard. Because to draw, you're always using a combination of tools. So I can just hit A, and it's going to hop to the arc instead of having to go back up and click it. And an arc. L for line. Hit escape if you make a mistake. You can hit the back arrow here, and you can see how much easier it is to just use a letter on the keyboard if you're already keeping your hand over there for the escape key, which you need to, since you're always going to end up doing that a bunch. You can just hit the L button instead of going back up and hunting. Turn the line back on. The escape key. You can go up here and use the arc, or you can hit the A on the keyboard. The A on the keyboard makes life way easier. And if it's not perfect, something like this, when you fix it with the tangent, and it smooth, you could always hit the escape key and get your selection arrow and just pull it. Depending on how you need to move it. Change the arc, change the length of this line. I had to grab the endpoint of that line. Hit the L on the keyboard. Like so, escape, hit the A for the arc tool. You can see it'll show you a tangent snap there. It went tangent here, but it didn't over there. And you always go back and just correct it if need be. Fix that one. See, it shows you the buttons pressed on those tools when they're being used. But anyway, for the sake of demonstration, I'm not going to go back and clean it up anymore, but this right here, oops, missed. These menus will hold on to your last option, so you're going to see whatever the default first option is, and you're going to have to down arrow, circular pattern, drag over what you want. And if it's placed all the right way, and it's easily gonna do that for you. You can just double click, change this to 6, and it's gonna show you on the mouse icon next to your arrow there that there's a green check mark, and so it's telling you to click that button on the mouse to finalize it. And the last step is to put little connection lines. Here, because you're just completing a segment, you don't have to go back and turn on the line tool again. The software does a good job with making tools easily accessible. And you will notice if you complete the outline of an object, you're going to get that new color depending on which program you're working in, and that is critical. Otherwise there's a mistake. Right click, tumble, drag. You can just sculpt this. It doesn't need to be any specific measurement, or you can type in a number if you wish. Here I want you to know how to turn the visibility of these things off so you can capture a photo. You can also right click on the part over here, edit the appearance, and either select a color this way or go into your mixer, which you can slide through the rainbow colors and pick shades however you like. You could also get really specific by putting in X color codes or RGB numbers if you want a color match. And that is how you use circular patterns. See you soon.